Hey everyone, John Hayden here, and I've got such a great interview for you today. I'm talking with Sam Lantz. Now, he lives down here, he's out and about. He actually helped open Wilton Manors with Chuck King. But you may know him from this.
Good luck, Sam.
Player 16 eliminated.
Sam? Sam, I'm sorry.
Thank you so much for joining me today. I mean, what a year you've had, and now you're going to be in a leader of one of South Florida's biggest summer events and the kickoff to Pride. How did this come to be?
Well, I started anchoring for Queer News Tonight, and I anchor with Faye, and I did an interview with Faye on her Faye What show, and it's just all kind of snowballed from there. It's all, I don't want to say snowballed, but it's all kind of built up from there. It's been a very exciting ride, kind of being a part of all of it from the interview on Faye What to now, and being the Grand Marshal of a Pride is a pretty big deal. I feel really, I don't know, I feel really lucky. I feel really special. It's everything that I wanted to do when I got on the show post-show has really just kind of been happening, and I'm just looking forward to all of it.
So are you a boat person? Do you own a boat? Or even better, do you have friends that own boats, and how often do you get out on the water?
I don't get out on the water as often as I would like. I grew up, like all of my friends' families had boats, so I grew up a lot on the water.
Okay.
But not so much recently. So I'm excited to be back out on the water, kind of just partying with everyone. I'm looking forward to it.
Wait, so you grew up in Idaho, right?
I did, but
Which is
not a
not
lot of
known
water.
for its ocean access.
No,
And you were
not
on the water all the time. Now you live here in Wilton Manors or Greater Wilton, and you never go out on the boats? Come
I
on.
never go out on a boat. It's wild. It's wild. You know, we had lots of lakes and rivers and stuff like that, but definitely no ocean. And you know, I can't even make an excuse for it. I should be out on the water more often.
Well, we're going to start remedying it when we get you on the lead boat in the Floatarama.
Yes. Oh my gosh, the party boat.
It really is. It really is. And spoiler alert, you're going to be stuck on a boat with me for like 4 hours. So just take a look at the face, know which one to avoid when we're actually in person.
I wouldn't call it stuck. We all get to party together.
Oh, so, I was talking with Scott, the founder and head of Floatarama, and I was like, you never told me you knew him because you live here in Broward. I just assumed, and you guys run in a lot of the same circles, but you never knew each other. How did this happen? Did he reach out to you? How did this go?
Yeah, I don't know how we'd never run into each other before, but because of Faye What and doing that show, it's just kind of made all of the connections up until now. And I told Faye the other day that I was really looking forward to Pride Month and being involved in lots of prides, and it just kind of I guess she just went over to Floatarama, and she's been doing a lot of stuff with them and just kind of fed my name out there, and they got behind it. And
Hey, once Faye is your friend, you're on lock. You have got this city on lock. Honestly, she is fantastic.
I love Faye so much.
Yeah. So what are you most looking forward to about the day? There's the reception, then we all get on the boat and party, but you're Grand Marshal. So how will you rule, and will you rule fairly but firmly?
Always fairly but firmly. You've got to be firm, or people just walk all over you. No, so I think that it's just all about happiness. The prides are all about celebrating the good parts of being gay and showing that we are resilient and that no matter how hard a lot of people and a lot of organizations try and snuff us out, we're here for the long haul, and we're going to be happy about it, and we're going to exist in happiness, because that's the antithesis of what they've been trying to squash us with. So, you only can fight darkness with light. So that's really what I'm looking forward to. Is every June is my birthday and Pride, and those are two of my favorite things. And getting I mean, just being able to be a big part of Pride and not just a spectator excites me. And knowing that I will be some of the fuel to that excitement and the happiness, and being able to feed that and show the world that, we're just happy-go-lucky people.
I know you've talked about it in press, and you have certainly talked about it on the show. Your struggles coming out and all of that. Tell me about the first Pride you attended.
Oh man, I think the first Pride I ever attended was it was in Palm Springs. I worked, I mean, as a young gay man, I worked, like a lot of us, in the customer service side of the gay world. So we didn't really get to experience prides. We worked them, and it was never really the same. But somehow I got a day off during a pride, and it was like I had experienced it before working, but it's such an uplifting and warm environment that you can really only truly, I don't know, appreciate when you just go in and you just let it kind of wash over you. And it was so surprising to me, after years and years of hiding who I was, to see thousands of people that were there just being like, this is who I am. And I'm happy with it. And the people I love me for it. And sometimes, I mean, obviously because of it. And it really was an unlocking of a whole new part of me in being proud of who I was and not feeling ashamed all the time.
That must have been so liberating.
It was. And that's part of why I'm so excited about being a Grand Marshal for a Pride, because now I'm almost at the reins of that good feeling that I remember having.
Yeah. So speaking of good feelings, after the boat, and of course any night when you're down here in at home in Broward, where do you and the hubby like to hang out? Like, because we've got Ramrod, Drink, Eagle, Pub. I mean, there's just 24 places along a mile stretch. Where do you guys like to go to chill, and where do you guys like to go to take it up a notch?
We really like to chill. We really like Rosie's and Drink. We both have really good friends at both of those places. So Rosie's, we like to go, and we like to hang out with RB and Trevor and, all of the wonderful people that work at Rosie's. And then we like to kind of go down and drink and hang out with Aaron, the bartender there. And then, when you want to bring it up, you gotta go to wherever DJ Trevor is DJing. So, I mean, he's a really good friend of mine, and he always just knows how to control the room. So wherever he's DJing, either at No Manners or the Eagle, and we have a lot of friends at the Eagle because I helped open the Eagle. So a lot of the bartenders and the managers and all of those people are really good friends of ours. So, it's kind of hard to choose. It's all, what friends are working tonight, and that's kind of where we go.
Yeah. Well, Chuck at Eagle is co-hosting our pageant, the Out South Florida Ms. pageant this Saturday.
Oh, amazing.
So yeah, Chuck's really out there. Chuck's very, very big in the community. He's really coming on strong, and it's really great to see.
Yeah, Chuck and I have actually been friends since I lived in Baltimore when he worked and opened the Baltimore Eagle. Okay. So that's how I kind of made my way down here, is Chuck and I were friends, and he was opening that. And I was like, well, I'd met my husband online at the time, and obviously we weren't husbands, but we had met online. I was like, I've kind of been toying with the idea of moving down here. And he's like, well, we're opening this bar, and if you'll have a job if you move down here. So it was kind of one of the catalysts for me kind of making my way down to Broward.
See, it's serendipitous. It is. I used to work at Channel 7 down here, and I auditioned here, and then I auditioned like 4 days later, I was in Chicago, and it was January.
Oh,
And so obviously I came to Florida, but it's weird how just those little timing, the little quirks of timing, if they had called me 3 months later, I'd be in Chicago, and
yeah.
it's kind of the same with you meeting Chuck, I feel.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, now I know that you've talked about the show experience and all that, but I've got to ask some questions of my own that I haven't seen you answer yet. I was an
Of
entertainment critic
course.
for 13 years doing deco down here and all this. So I want to ask. I mean, obviously, it's not real life or death, and so I know, but it's so intense. At least the way it's edited, it's so intense. Is it easy to forget that that you're going to be okay, and you get so involved in the moment that you're like, oh my God, this could be the end, whatever the end means to you mentally?
Right. They did a really good job of simulating the death emotion in us because as with every show that in that reality show kind of competition sphere, they keep you at a high level of anxiety to make the show good. And everybody knows that when they sign up for a show. But this one, it seemed like they did it to the nth degree because they really wanted it to feel like people were dying, and our emotions to their reaction to our emotions to our reactions of them leaving the show, they wanted it to feel like a little more. So the prize pot was so large, and all of the eliminations were so dramatic. Like once someone was eliminated, there were very few times that we were able to like say goodbye to them and hug them and have any kind of closure. It was just eliminated and leave. Like when I was eliminated, it was just I pressed the button, they pulled me out. There was no goodbye, there was nothing. It was just we left. And in the back of our minds, we always knew that those people weren't dead, but in the room, they may as well have been. On the show, we never saw them again. We didn't know how to contact anybody. We had nothing, but this person that we had made great friends with is just gone. And we have no way of contacting him. So it really felt like death.
The One of the things I noticed that the directors and the editors made a choice to do was using space to amplify the loneliness, at least that, and the distance between people, even if they were only 6 feet apart, they looked like they were much further apart. Now, is that something that tricked the mind of the viewer to get us thinking that, or were you feeling it when you were in these wide open, very vulnerable feeling spaces?
We were definitely feeling it, especially after we went from 456 people, which even in with 456 people in that huge room, it felt like very few people in the red light, green light arena.
Yeah.
So when we got into the dorm felt kind of small with 200 people. And then as it went, it felt bigger and bigger. It was almost like it was expanding, but we were shrinking. And it was really it was both a sense of accomplishment and a sense of like dread, because everything, we just kept feeling smaller and smaller, even though we felt like we should be feeling bigger because we were surmounting all of these things. We were going back into these places and feeling smaller physically. So it was kind of a mental game again, where they were just kind of it was so well choreographed, the way that they messed with our minds. It was amazing.
And the anonymity of the staff, for lack of a better term, with their masks on and everything. I mean, that their presence intentionally made you feel even more alone, didn't it?
It was bizarre. At first, it was a very much of a mind bender seeing those guards in real life, but after a certain point, it was almost like our brains just kind of ignored them because we had so much else we had to focus on. We were like, okay, those guards aren't going to do anything to us right now, which was not always true, because sometimes the guards would come out and they'd bring something that completely ended up taking us on a wild turn. But slowly the guards kind of I guess, kind of stopped having so much weight to us because they would stand there and they would be fixtures. And even, them just being fixtures, we never heard them talk. They never interacted with us, even when it was like between challenges. It wasn't like we were acting and we got to be friends with these people that were guards. They were guards, and that's all they were to us. They weren't actors. They weren't anything. They were just the guards that were bringing us to our doom and stuff. But they became such a fixture that, I don't know, it was a little bit of both. It was a little bit of, they were scary because we were used to them being scary from the show, but we were so used to them in the room that they became almost like furniture. I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah, I know. I totally get it. On a scale of 1 to 10, how dystopic was it feeling when you were in there? Like when we watch it, you feel the coldness and the detachment. Did it feel that way? Like you were in a completely different society, a completely different hierarchy?
Yeah, yeah, because everybody's personality, even canceling out people wanting to get screen time, everyone's personality kind of, like with a Lego set, just kind of clicked into different spots in the room.
Yep.
And it's almost like people tried to either take the leadership roles, or we all came in at a base minimum. And then everyone was trying to figure it out, which was very post-apocalyptic, Lord of the Flies, Mad Max kind of thing, because there were people that wanted to be leaders and they needed to be the leader. And then there were people that were just followers and they were the lackeys of the leaders. And it was really kind of weird. And then the sets themselves, they did such a good job of using practical effects that it really got that emotion going in us as just reality show people, not actors with a script or being told how to react. It was just our reactions to these amazing sets that the set design people and the games makers had put together, and just everyone that had a part in that show played that part so well and did their jobs up to way over what I was ever expecting. Like in the marble set, the sunset that was all around us was there when we were actually filming. That wasn't CGI. It wasn't a green screen. It was this giant oval screen around us that had the sunset and the clock projected on it. So it was very much like we were actually there.
Wow. That sounds so cool.
It was so amazing.
So okay, I also want we got to plug away. We got to plug away. I know you're doing beard products. I can't ask you any intelligent question because you may have figured out by this point I don't have a lot of experience with hair and head hair, whatever. But tell me about your beard products and how that's really taken off, if it has.
I wanted to really release a beard product line because it's something that I've always wanted to do. And when the show had wrapped and we were building up to the release, I was like, but what better time than now? And I really wanted to release a product line that was more accepting to other people that have beards, not just the people that fit into the stereotype of the Viking, the lumberjack, the warrior, all of these things that
the Paul Bunyan-ish look.
Yes, the Paul Bunyan-ish. I really wanted to make products that, people that didn't really feel that way about themselves wouldn't feel weird about buying, something that was like, oh, be a lumberjack, buy this. Sometimes people just like bearded queens, they just want to be beautiful and have a great beard. And that's my idea behind releasing Beard Giant, was to have bright colors and a lot of acceptance and a lot of, you want this beard, let's help you get it. Let's help you get there. We wanted to have a lot of inclusion for our trans family members, for just the non-binary family members, people that just didn't fit into that little sphere that seems like everyone's got to be in order to take care of their beard, which seems kind of silly to me. But yeah, we released it. It's doing all right. It's something it's just one of many things that is happening right now. So it's not it's not the typical story that's told for beard products. So I know it's going to take a lot of saying for people to realize that that's what we're saying. And yeah, it's with every product line, it's a little bit of an uphill battle, but you know, we're pushing that rock up the hill.
All right, I have one final question. Now, not counting the people who know you already, but have people come up to you on the street and been like, "Hi," and I have to ask the question, or do they say, "Oh my gosh, you're that guy from The Thing, you're Sam," or do they call you 016 or 16?
I've gotten a little bit of everything. I get Phil, actually, surprisingly, as well. So Phil, my cohort, my friend, second place from the show. I get Phil, even though we look nothing alike.
Yeah,
But
you're both incredibly great, sexy people, but I could pick each of you out of a lineup.
yes, very easily. So I get Phil. I get a lot of, hey, you're that guy. Luckily in Broward, a lot of people know my name, but I still do get Paul from my Instagram. Yeah, it's been really amazing the number of people that come up to me and tell me how great it was to see my story, even though I was just telling my story. I wasn't really thinking that. I guess the best way to put it is we always feel really alone until we tell our story, and then everyone's like, "Oh, me too," and you're like, "Wait, really?"
Yeah.
It's very similar to the Pride story that I told earlier. We feel alone until we see so many people around us that are feeling the same, and there's only one way to know that we have a community, and that's to speak up. And you know, you're not a burden, you're not a lost cause, you're not weird. There's always someone that can help you with whatever you're feeling, or and we all want to help our friends and our community members. And because we've all been, generally there's always someone that's been where you are right now and can tell you, okay, so here's how we take you to the next step. So it's been really beautiful seeing that again in our community, because it's not something I've experienced a lot, because I have been more of an insular part of the community. I've been kind of, you know, in just my little Wilton bubble. But now walking around New York, I will have people just be like, "Oh my gosh, you're, like you said, that guy from That Thing." And
Yeah.
you made me just, a lot of people are like, "You made me feel so seen." And as a person that has felt so invisible for so long, that being someone that has helped someone feel seen is an incredible feeling.
Oh, Sam, thank you so much. That touches my heart. And I know for a fact that you touched many other people along the way, people that you will never ever know or meet. And that's gotta be worth something deep down in here, right?
It's really amazing. Actually, one of my favorite things was when we were in LaGuardia right after the finale filmed, and the whole Starbucks at the LaGuardia airport shut down because people wanted to come up and talk to me. So it was pretty amazing feeling.
That is so cool. And LaGuardia is so terrible. You could shoot Squid Game there.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
the new terminal is actually pretty awesome.
yeah.
The old stuff is really awful. Really.
Yeah. I'm just saying you could get an old hangar and an old terminal, like Terminal D or something, and just
Yeah.
shoot the show there. It's that terrible.
Sponsored by Spirit.
That's great. Sam, thank you so much for taking time with me today. And I mean, I'll probably start looking for you and see you around Wilton, but if not, I will certainly see you on the day of the flotilla.
Woohoo! Party boat.
Party boat. Thank you so very much, sir.